Insights with Terri Ep.115, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.115. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.115. We will be talking about April the 2nd through the 9th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me. The most valuable gift, as I say all the time, is time, and I really appreciate the gift of your time listening to this. What is ahead for us for this week? We've got a few things going here, so I'll make it as quick and concise as I possibly can. We are still in the sun sign Aries. I talked about that last week, and I want to talk about it a little bit more because there's quite a bit of energy in Aries. Us switching to this springtime, brand new beginnings type of energy. I know we say that the new year is January, but actually that's the end of the year. It's when, all the crops are in. It's quiet. Everything is asleep. Our trees are asleep. Everything's taking a nap, getting ready, conserving energy, ready to dedicate the energy of the spring to new life and brand new beginnings, which is where we are right now. So given that, they've afforded us the energy of Mercury, how we think, how we communicate, how we process. That is in Taurus. Taurus being that strong, bold type of energy that allows for us to look at, I'm determined about this. You can be stubborn and cut your own nose off to spite your face, or you can be determined. So this is an energy field that seeks security, seeks safety, not through passiveness and not through aggression, but through solid, self-confident, bull type energy. And it's an earth sign, which allows us to get in the garden and go do things. And then that impulse and fire sign, Aries, allows us to want to start a new project and gives us that energy to get going. Now, warning alert here, just a little warning. Mercury is going to go into retrograde on the 21st of this. Now, I shouldn't say warning. That's a negative way of thinking, I know. But me being mercurial and having very personal contact with Mercury going retrograde, the good side of that is it lets you think back. It lets you look at things that you've made mistakes over, or the things that we will be making mistakes with Mercury retrograde, because we're not thinking. We're going backwards. We're not processing as quick as we're used to. This is the time we fall. This is the time we trip. This is the time we drop things. This is the time we didn't say what we should have said to somebody, or didn't think, or. It's very precarious for driving because other people aren't thinking either, and you get two people not thinking, and it's called an accident. And they can be pretty severe at this time. This is where trains jump the track because they were going too fast around a curve. They've gone 50,000 times around. This is a time where even the professionals make mistakes because we're just not processing as fast as we should. And most of us are at a challenge right now for processing anyway because of where the planets are. Let's not put a burden on society. Let's just look and say, you know what, leave myself plenty of time to get to where I'm going. And let's think calmly, quietly before we leave the house. Make sure we have all the papers that we needed, all the things that we needed. We will talk about that again because that's not happening till the 21st. The reason that I bring it up is because of my sensitive people, myself included, start feeling it just about now. I start feeling it a couple weeks before it actually takes effect. And that can be it's kind of scary because you make mistakes, and some mistakes are easier to fix than others. But again, with that energy of head, which is Aries, in Venus, the planet of love and beauty and attraction, that's in Gemini. And Gemini is also ruled by Mercury, so we can have some befuddled thinking there as well as far as love affairs or what we're attracted to or what we need. So be very careful how you spend at this time. It's not as hard as when we have a Venus-ruled planet in Venus. Then we can almost not control ourselves for buying, spending, impulsiveness. It's not as bad. But we will be thinking about the things that we want and hard to let go. Mars, the planet of drive and our passion planet, is in Cancer, which is, I like it. It is a fire sign. Mars is a fire sign. And Cancer is a water sign. Fire and water, as I've mentioned before, together can be very powerful. Or one can put the other out. Fire can put water out, or water can douse the fire. Fire can burn off water. So we can destroy ourselves with this. But that's not the intention. The intention is to make steam and make it more powerful. So this is the time for looking at home activities, getting your garden, getting your house in shape, maybe inviting people into your home where it's just family oriented. Friends are family, family is family. It's a really good energy for just loyalty and kindness and love. Something to really think about. Now I want to just move back again just quickly to Aries. Aries, as I said, is that firstborn of the zodiac. So that's the time that we enjoy maybe a pioneer type of energy where we do something new hobby, maybe take a route that we're not used to taking to work, or a Sunday drive. Just trying something that is what you would consider brand new, pioneer. We learn over time with this energy to develop the stamina that we're going to need to finish what we start. It's not natural in Aries, but we have the support of Taurus in Venus, which is a finisher. So we can start it with Aries and finish it with Taurus. So this allows us to carve out a new path for the next day, the next week, the next month, our life. Now, with that impulsive childlike Aries, sometimes we may find that our road, our new path, is littered with false starts. But you know what? We learn from them. We can learn from all of these almost starts and almost finishes. We can learn to finish. We can learn to have a better start. So it's a really great energy field to allow us to work with starting and taking a good look at a panoramic view of what we've just done, where we're headed, where we want to go. So enjoy this sense of adventure that's being offered to us. Try, if you can, this is an energy that supports it, to face each day with that sense of adventure, that hopeful optimism. We are supposed to be learning right now to balance our enthusiasm with consideration, to find the right avenues for all this energy that they're going to be throwing at us. Some of us are already feeling it. In many ways, Aries is the infant, of the zodiac sign, the child. And children are motivated, they're excited, they're energetic. So the motivation behind much of what we do can come from that childlike need to challenge things, to experience, to explore. So by pushing out into unexplored territory, we can learn how to combine enthusiasm with adequate risk assessment. And this way we can avoid rushing into where angels fear to tread, and enjoying being first. Aries likes to be first, so we can enjoy being first. Through maybe some competition, we can express all of that. Games, deadlines, fast-paced environments. So there's an opportunity here to compete against ourselves, against other people. This is the time to maybe have step competing with your Fitbit, to revitalize that force in us, to provide that impetus that we need to challenge and improve ourselves, knowing where that benchmark is. It gives us something to aim for. So this is really, really, really important stimulation, and we can focus on that. Now, unfortunately, Aries can have a particular knack for creating challenges in our own lives. So we have to watch that. So we have to look at, is this the energy that I need to overcome an obstacle? Is this the catalyst, the spark that I'll need to initiate spirit into gear? So conflict with others can happen at this time, and maybe even conflict with practical considerations that can trigger. So we just want to be careful with this. We just want to look at it and say, why am I doing it? What am I doing? Why do I want to do this? Is this going to be in my best interest? Is this something that I really, really need to do? And you just look at it. So if we do, we look at it and say, yes, I think I will. And we consider it just a little bit more so that we're not leaving ourselves in a canoe without a paddle. Now, as I said, there are sensitivities given each week depending on where the moon is and your body. Everybody's chart is a little bit different. Everybody's body is a little bit different. And how they combine with the planets will be a little bit different. So in the beginning of the week, because it is in a Virgo type of energy, what we have to look at are more sensitive parts can be our pancreas, that small intestine, our digestive tract, our colon. Virgo rules the sense organs, your eyes, your ears, anything that's sense. It's an earth sign. So these will be our sensitive areas. They will need extra care for most of the week. Towards the middle of the week, it could be, if you're vulnerable, kidneys, your bladder, if you're prone to bladder infections, your insulin, if you have diabetes, or even if you're pre-diabetic, your glucogen. So you have to look at all of that. Pancreas are really, really under pressure the beginning and the middle of this week. So if you're diabetic, this might hit you a little bit more. So just be more cognizant of exercise, what you eat. Even if you're not diabetic, this can hit you. You could maybe eat something a little too fatty for your body's taste, and that can give you grief. Then towards the end of the week, we'll be looking more at your regenerative organs. The prostate on men, the genitals, all those organs are going to be needing a little bit of extra care. We'll be really wanting balance and harmony towards the middle of the week to the end of the week. We won't like arguments, especially with that Cancer and Mars. But that Libra in the moon towards the middle of the week doesn't like confrontation. So we won't enjoy that. We would enjoy more trying to find a middle ground for everybody, trying to compromise. Towards the middle of the week as well, really, really watch what you're eating. Now, because Virgo is in the moon in the beginning of the week, Virgo likes to be healthy. It's an energy that really craves health and wellness. So you could look at your diet, you could look at what you're eating. Is it contributing to you? Is it detracting from your life? Keep an eye on that. And then move towards the middle of the week where we're allowed to put that in play. So it's giving us support. Oh, and that Virgo energy does not like messes at all. So if you want to clean the house today on a Sunday and be all ready for the beginning of the week on Monday, because if there's a mess, it can really hit you. You know, sometimes you can just fluff it off, but this isn't an energy that fluffs it off very easily. This is an energy that it sticks and it just feels hard. The number that was given to us is number 4. Now, 4 is a pretty powerful number in trying to balance. So with 4, we can look at, 4-poster bed, 4 corners of a house. So it's successful. It's a balanced energy. And it's one that wants to persevere, because 4 corners gives us strength to persevere bad weather. Pressure in one area supports another area. It's systematic. It's consistency. It's order. So number 4 wants us to achieve success. It's patient, and it's important to look at patience and own it overtly, consciously with the number 4. Number 4 doesn't like change. So looking at some of the energy that we have, the flexibility of Aries in the sun sign, and the flexibility of Gemini in Venus, that might go against the grain a little bit. So kind of keep an eye on what you're doing so that you don't feel like you're playing a chord in music that doesn't fit. It doesn't like change, but that doesn't mean that you can't change. But it also doesn't like monotonous life. So kind of balance here is what we're looking for, even with that Libra energy. Number 4 is physically strong. It can take pressure. That balance of 4 can take the pressure. So activities where you can use physical strength and dexterity would be good, but be careful of that for the following week, which we can turn into that Mercury retrograde on the 21st, because that always can cause accidents as we change positions there. The weakness of number 4 that we are going to need to learn this week will be carelessness, a narrow view of life. Avoid these or be aware of them, and if this is you, be able to address it. So we have to be careful when we're making decisions that we aren't careless or that we are being very narrow in our view of this. And look at what experience has taught us, each person individually, collectively. What should we be learning from some of the things that have gone on in the last few years, actually all of our lives? And how do we turn it inward positively, but not negatively, so that it affects our nervous system badly? A lot of times we don't realize that we're stressed or upset because we think we're handling it on the outside, but inside we're blowing up. So it's important to release some cumulative energy. Be aware of it. That's what your Fitbit's there for, to let you know when your heart rate's up and you don't even feel it. Number 4, in its weakness, could give us lack of confidence, but it's not meant to do that. That's not what it was meant to do. So that's something that we could look at if you're in the mood. Now the cards, I'm going to do this really quickly. The cards that were pulled for us, major cards here, and this has been happening for everybody when they get individual readings, is the Death card and the Tower. Both really the most difficult energy fields in the deck. Now, it doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom. It means that death in this time that we're in right now was the death of the leaves of the trees, the death of all the grass, the death of maybe the branches that weren't strong enough to stand up to the windstorm, pruning the trees for new growth. So death in the place that I've pulled it for my friends out there is really major transformation. It's about getting yourself ready for profound and very, very necessary change, both as a species, human population, and individually. So it trickles right down to each one of us individually. And that is very liberating in the end. When we can achieve that, that's really, really liberating. So basically, we're dawning in a new era. We are. This is all brand new for us. I know we want to go back. Many of us just want to go back to the way it was before. But we can't. We have to leave the past behind. That's what the Death card is in this reading. So remember, it's the end of a cycle and the start of a new one. How are you going to start? How are we going to start? What's important to us? What do you want to start your next section of your life in and of? So that's going to be really important for you to give that consideration. The Tower is one that allows us to be torn down and to rebuild. Now, it is a bolt out of the blue. So it's in some of the tarot cards, it's a lightning bolt that we see that comes out of the blue. Who can predict where lightning's going to strike? God. That's it. So this bolt from the blue can collapse the structure of our lives as we know it, so that it allows us to rebuild. So if something gets blown up, which is just about what happened to so many people in the last few years, but right now we're in the brand new beginnings of building. Collapsing the old way of life, throwing litter. You know, when I was young, everybody threw their bags and garbage and cups out the window. Never thought a thing of it. It never felt right to me because I'm weird. I just watched people do it and I thought, that's not good. Some raccoon's going to get into that and hurt themselves. But not people back then really considered that. It just wasn't considered. You threw your butts out the windows if you smoked. And all your trash to clean your car just went out the window. But that's the old way of life, isn't it? That's what used to be okay. It's not okay anymore. So the collapse of an old way of life, so that we can modify. Now this shock has to happen. The havoc has to happen so that we awaken from what was becoming unstable. So it's jolting. It's a jolting insight. It jolted many of us with the pandemic. I can't see how it wasn't going to happen. It had to happen. I've already discussed that. I won't do that again to you. But oftentimes it's a shocking revelation that's allowed to us, that lightning bolt. Maybe some of us are going to be given a chance to look at a traumatic experience that we've endured, or maybe somebody else around us, and understand it from a different perspective. And that will allow some really big, major transformation in our life, in other people's lives, and us viewing it. So it's a crisis point. It is. There's no surprise here. And it's unavoidable. We can't avoid this. This is full in our face. Now, please don't think it's dire. It's just life, isn't it? Life is change. Life is adapting. Life is being able to take garbage, poop, and turn it to fertilizer. Take garbage and move it into something new, brand new, creative. That's what Value Village does with what some people consider garbage clothes. They refit it and somebody's treasure has just been found. So that's kind of what's happening to all of us right now. Now, I would like to take this moment to wish you well for this next week. We have lots and lots of things to think about, to do, to work with. It's very exciting. It really is. Oh, and that full moon on the 6th, that's Thursday coming. That's also in Libra, which will allow us that power of wanting to balance and have harmony in our life, taking all that fertilizer and using it for good, not to tear us down, to build us up, to build that garden up, to take that poop that the guinea hens have offered me, and the chickens have offered me, and the turkeys have offered me in the chicken coop, and spread that poop in my garden and let that become new food, something brand new out of poop. And that full moon on Thursday will allow us the energy and the insight and maybe even more connection with our guides. I would like to thank sincerely from the bottom of my heart Charlie O'Brien for helping put this up. He puts us on Spotify podcasts, Apple iTunes podcasts, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. I will post the link when he gives it to me on Facebook with this podcast. You can also go to the website that Charlie O'Brien made for us, and he has archived 4 or 5 of the last episodes in case you missed one, or you want to revisit it at www.terriworld.com. Without Charlie, none of this would be happening. So Charlie, I'm so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you so much for doing this for myself and for the other people. If you would like a reading for yourself and help me to focus on you individually, please text or call 519-726-6699, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com, and we can see about what's going to happen in your life particularly. Thanks everybody for joining me. You have yourself a wonderful week. Hopefully we will talk and exchange some ideas for next week. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com, TERRI world.com.